Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the TikTok Gatornationals final eliminations. We start with top fuel. Up first, number 1 qualifier Brandon Bernstein in the far lane. Number 16 qualifier Brittany Force in the near lane. Brandon Bernstein gets the win at 184.1, taking out Brittany Force with a 189.8. Our next pair, we have the number 8 qualifier Bones in the far lane. The number 9 qualifier Mike Dunn in the near lane. Third run's going to be Bones at 187.5, taking on Mike Dunn's 188 flat. Our next pair, number 2 qualifier, Melanie Troxel in the far lane. Number 15 qualifier, Kenny Bernstein in the near lane. Going to be Melanie Troxel at 181.4, taking on Kenny Bernstein, who ran a 187.7. Our next pair, number 7 qualifier, Gary Celsius in the near lane. Number 10 qualifier, Samantha on the far lane. A 187.9 for Gary Selzy and a 189.4 for Samantha. Selzy moves on. Our next pair, number 3 qualifier, Joe Amato in the far lane. Number 14 qualifier, Clay Milliken in the near lane. Milliken comes off the side of the track. He's going to slow down to a 248.6. Joe Amato gets the win with a 183 flat. Our next pair, number 6 qualifier, Tony Schumacher in the far lane. Number 11 qualifier, Corey Mack in the near lane. Tony Schumacher does have a new top fuel dragster coming soon later this season. They will be doing some testing on it in the coming weeks. He'll race it once this season. At 187.7 for Schumacher gets the win over Corey Mack's 189 flat. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier, Thunder in the far lane. Number 13 qualifier, Larry Dixon in the near lane. Dixon has some good runs. He struggles down the hill there. 188.9 for Thunder. Taking out Dixon, who ran a 206.7. And our final pair, top fuel round number 1. We have number 5 qualifier, Doug Collette in the near lane. Number 12 qualifier, Fisher in the far lane. Good run. It's going to be Doug Collette by 2,000ths of a second. A 189 flat. Taking out Fisher's 189.2. And here are your round 2 matchups in top fuel. Brandon Bernstein will have lane choice over Bones. Melanie Troxel will have lane choice over Gary Selzy. Joe Amato will have lane choice over Tony Schumacher. And Thunder will have lane choice over Doug Collette by 1,000th of a second. Funny car. Round 1. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Gatornationals. It's time for Funny Car round number 1. Our first pair, number 1 qualifier, Fisher in the far lane. Taking on number 16 qualifier, John Forrest in the near lane. Fisher a 172.5, taking on John Forrest. Ran a 178.9. Our next pair, number 8 qualifier, Jim Epler in the near lane, taking on number 9 qualifier, Eric in the far lane. It's going to be Eric, a 176.4, taking out Jim Epler, 180 with a 1. Our next pair, number 2 qualifier, Mello in the far lane, taking on number 15 qualifier, Del Worsham in the near lane. Mello, a 173.6, Del Worsham, a 181.4. Mello moves on. Our next pair, number 7 qualifier, Sinister in the far lane, taking on number 10 qualifier, the reigning world champion Mellon in the near lane. Going to be Sinister, a 174.3, taking out Mellons, 175.1. Our next pair, number 3 qualifier, Thunder in the far lane. Number 14 qualifier, Ron Capps in the near lane. Going to be Thunder's Capps hits the outside cone, the south of foot mark. He will get his time. 173.4 for Thunder, 207.4 for Capps. Our next pair, number 6 qualifier, Cruz Pettigon in the far lane. Number 11 qualifier, Daryl Creasy Jr. in the near lane. Cruz Pettigon on 172.2. Taking on Daryl Creasy's 180 with an 8. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier, Tony Pettigon in the near lane. Taking on number 13 qualifier, Brother Jimmy Petrion in the far lane. And it's going to be Jimmy Petrion by a foul. 179-2. Taking out Tony Petrion's 179-3. And our final pair of Funny Car, round number 1. Number 5 qualifier, Helatic in the near lane. Taking on number 12 qualifier and teammate Ricardo in the far lane. Team Hot Wheels definitely struggling this year. Only going to get one car in the second round. It's going to be Helatic, a 175-4. Taking out Ricardo's 179-2. Here are your matchups for round 2 Funny Car. Fisher will have lane choice over teammate Eric. Mello will have lane choice over teammate Sinister. Thunder will take on Cruz Petrion. Cruz Petrion has lane choice. And Jimmy Petrion will take on Helatic. Helatic has lane choice. Pro Stock, round 1, next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Gatornationals. It's time for Pro Stock, round number 1. Our first pair is a Team Thunder matchup. Number 1 qualifier, Zan in the far lane. Taking on number 16 qualifier, Biggie in the near lane. Who's moving on to round 2. It's going to be Zan, a 172 flat, taking on Big E's 180 with a 3. Our next pair, number 8 qualifier, Eric Anderson in the far lane. Number 9 qualifier, Alan Johnson in the near lane. Alan Johnson left on the line, but slowed to a 180 with a 9. Eric Anderson drives around and wins 177-2. Our next pair, number 2 qualifier, Fastfish in the far lane, taking on Roger Dodger, number 15 qualifier, in the near lane. It's going to be Fastfish, a 172-8, taking on Roger Dodger's 178-7. Our next pair, number 7 qualifier, Hockey in the near lane, taking on number 10 qualifier, Bones in the far lane. Who moves on? And it's going to be Bones by a foul. 177-6, beating Hockey's 177-7. Good run. Our next pair, number 3 qualifier, Civic in the near lane. Number 14 qualifier, Fireball in the far lane. It's going to be Civic, a 176-3, taking off Fireball's 179-7. Our next pair, Team WWE on the line. Number 6 qualifier, John Cena in the near lane. Number 11 qualifier, CM Punk in the far lane. It's going to be CM Punk, a 176-7. Taking out Cena's 177-8. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier, Toyota in the far lane. Taking on number 13 qualifier, Dave Hazard in the near lane. It's going to be Toyota, 174-9, taking on Dave Hazard's 178-2. And our final pair of Pro Stock, round number 1. We have number 5 qualifier, Beaumont in the far lane. Number 12 qualifier, Dave Conley in the near lane. It's going to be Beaumont, 177-2, taking out Conley at a 178-9. Pro Stock, round number 2. Matchups are as follows. Zam will have lane choice over Eric Anders. Fastfish will have lane choice over Bones. Civic will have lane choice over CM Punk. And Toyota will have lane choice over Boma. Pro Stock Thundercycle, round 1, next. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the season debut of Pro Stock Thundercycle, round 1 here at the TikTok Gatornationals. Our first pair, number 1 qualifier, Steve in the far lane, taking on number 16 qualifier, King in the near lane. It's going to be Steve, a 177-4, taking out King's 185-6. Our next pair, number 8 qualifier, Philip in the far lane, taking on number 9 qualifier, Sinister in the near lane. Sinister now on the Team Thunder bike. Team Thundercycle. It's going to be Philip, a 179 flat, taking out Sinister's 185-7. Our next pair, number 2 qualifier, Eric in the far lane, taking on number 15 qualifier, Caleb in the near lane. Eric going to take the win on 180 with a 3. As you see Caleb crashing there. We'll check on him in a moment. He does get the 183-3 he ran. Our next pair, another number 7 qualifier, our reigning world champion Snow in the far lane, taking on number 10 qualifier Scotty in the near lane, former teammates. And that's why she's former world champion, a 177-1 for Snow, taking on Scotty's 181-9. Caleb has been checked on. Caleb is okay. Our next pair, number 3 qualifier Vegeta in the far lane, taking on number 14 qualifier Terry in the near lane. Vegeta going to get the win on 178 flat, taking out Terry's 185-9. Our next pair, number 6 qualifier Michelle in the far lane, taking on number 11 qualifier Ray in the near lane. Michelle's going to get the win on 177-1, taking on Ray's 182-4. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier Samantha in the far lane, taking on number 13 qualifier James in the near lane. Samantha looking to be a threat now for the championship on that new bike. Going to get the win on 177-6, taking on James 180 with a 4. And our final pair, number 5 qualifier Mar in the far lane, and then number 12 qualifier Dallas in the near lane, who's going on round number 2. Give me Mar, 178-2, taking on Dallas, a 180 with an 8. Pro Select Thundercycle round 2 matchups are as follows. Steve will have lane choice over Phillip. Eric will have lane choice over... No, Snow will have lane choice over Eric. Vegeta will take on Michelle. Michelle's lane choice. And Samantha will have lane choice over Mar. Mario Kart, round 1, next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Gatornationals. It's time for the first round of Mario Kart. Up first, number 1 qualifier, Lakitu in the far lane, taking on number 16, Bowser in the near lane. Good run. It's going to be Lakitu at 169.6. Taking on Bowser's 173.5. Our next pair, we have Princess Peach, number 8 qualifier in the far lane, number 9 qualifier, Baby Luigi in the near lane. Good run. Princess Peach takes the win at 178-3. Taking on Baby Peach 171.9. Our next pair with number 2 qualifier, Light Blue Shy Guy in the far lane, taking on Green Yoshi, number 15 qualifier in the near lane. Gonna be Light Blue Shy Guy 1700, 170 flat, taking out Green Yoshi 173.6. Our next pair, number 7 qualifier, Diddy Kong in the far lane, taking on number 10 qualifier, Tanuki Mario in the near lane. Tanuki Mario got the lead and will get the win on 171 flat, taking on Diddy Kong's 171.7. Our next pair, number 3 qualifier, Shy Guy in the far lane, taking on number 14 qualifier, Toad in the near lane. Toad was runner-up for the last race. It's going to be Shy Guy at 170 with the 5, taking out Toads, 172.3. Our next pair, number 6 qualifier, Light Blue Yoshi in the far lane, number 11 qualifier, Koopa Troopa in the near lane. Koopa Troopa starters off the starting line, 171.5 for Light Blue Yoshi, taking the win, 184.4 for Koopa Troopa. Our next pair, we have number 4 qualifier, Dry Bones in the far lane, taking on number 13 qualifier, Red Yoshi in the near lane. Give me Dry Bones, 171.4, taking out Red Yoshi's 173.3. And our final pair of Mario Kart round number 1. Number 5 qualifier, Mario in the far lane, taking on number 12 qualifier, Baby Peach in the near lane. And it's going to be Mario, 171 flat, taking out Baby Peach, 173.4. Mario Kart round 2 is as followed. Lakitu will take on Princess Peach with lane choice. Light Blue Shy Guy has lane choice over Tanuki Mario. Shy Guy has lane choice over Light Blue Yoshi. And Dry Bones will take on Mario. Mario has lane choice. Round 2, Top Fuel Funny Car. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Gatornationals. It's time for round 2, Top Fuel and Funny Car. You see them in the staging lanes, ready to go. Our first pair, number 1 qualifier, Brandon Bernstein in the far lane, taking on number 8 qualifier, Bones in the near lane. Bones have been relatively well, taking people out in the near lane. Not going to happen this time, though. Brandon Burns going to get the win, a 183.4. Bones stops at the finish line with a 228.6. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier Thunder in the far lane, taking on number 5 qualifier Doug Coletta in the near lane. Going to be Thunder at 188.7, taking on Doug Coletta's 190 with a 0. Our next pair, number 2 qualifier, Melanie Troxel on the far lane, taking on Gary Selzy, number 7 qualifier in the near lane. Going to be Troxel 181.1, taking out Gary Selzy 187.2. And our final pair, top fuel round number 2, number 3 qualifier Joe Amato on the far lane, taking on number 6 qualifier Tony Schumacher in the near lane. Schumacher comes off the track. Amato, a 184.3. You see Schumacher stops here. Amato will get the win. Top fuel semifinals as followed. Brandon Burns, he won lane choice over Thunder. Melon Sharks of lane choice over Joe Amato. It's now time for Funny Car round number 2. Our first pair. We have Fisher in the far lane, number 1 qualifier, taking on number 9 qualifier, teammate Eric in the near lane. It's going to be Fisher, 173.1, taking out Eric's 176.8. Our next pair, number 13 qualifier, Jimmy Petrigan in the far lane, taking on number 5 qualifier, Haletic in the near lane. It's going to be Haletic, 175.1, taking on Jimmy Petrigan's 179.2. Our next pair, number 2 qualifier, Mello in the far lane, taking on teammate number 7 qualifier, Sinister in the near lane. The other one's going to be Mello, 172.1, taking out Sinister's 174.7. And our final pair of Funny Car round number 2. Number 6 qualifier, Cruz Pedregon with the lane choice in the near lane. Number 3 qualifier, Thunder in the far lane. This is going to be Thunder, 170 with the 5, taking out Cruz Pedregon's 175.4. Your Funny Car semifinals are as followed. Fisher will have lane choice over Haletic, and Mello will take on Thunder. Thunder is lane choice. Pro Stock, Thundercycle, and Mario Kart, round 2, next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Gatornationals Center for Pro Stock, round number 2. Up first, the number 1 qualifier, Zan in the far lane, taking on number 8 qualifier, Erica Enders in the near lane. It's going to be Zan, a 171.8, taking on Eric Enders, 178.9. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier, Toyota in the near lane, had lane choice over the number 5 qualifier, Bulma in the far lane. And it's going to be Toyota, 174.7, taking on Bulma's 177 flat. Our next pair, number 2 qualifier, Fast Fish in the near lane, taking on number 10 qualifier, Bones in the far lane. Fast Fish wins this, he's your new points leader. And he's going to a 174.4 for Fast Fish to Bones, 176.7. And our final pair, Pro Stock round number 2. We got number 3 qualifier, Civic in the far lane, number 11 qualifier, CM Punk in the near lane. It's going to be close, it's going to be Civic, a 175.4, taking out Punk's 177.8. Your Pro Stock semifinals are as followed. Zan will have lane choice over Toyota, and Fish will have lane choice over Civic. It's now time for Pro Stock Thundercycle round number 2. Our first pair, we have number 1 qualifier, Steve in the near lane, taking on number 8 qualifier, Philip in the far lane. It's going to be a good run. It's going to be Steve, a 180 with the 4, taking out Phillips, 181 flat. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier, Samantha in the far lane, number 5 qualifier, Mara in the near lane. It's going to be Samantha, 178.9, taking out Mara's 180 with a 7. That was a close run. Our next pair, we have number 7 qualifier, Snow in the far lane, had lane choice over number 2 qualifier, Eric in the near lane. going to be Eric, a 177.5, taking out Snows, 178.2. And our final pair of Pro Select Thundercycle, round number 2. We have number 6 qualifier, Michelle in the near lane, who had lane choice, and swapped over after her husband Eric just ran that 177.5 in the near lane, taking on number 3 qualifier, Vegeta in the far lane. And it's going to be Vegeta, 178.3, taking on Michelle's 179.4. And the semifinals for the Pro Select Thundercycles are as followed. Steve will take on Samantha. Samantha's lane choice. And Eric will have lane choice over Vegeta. Now time for the second round of Mario Kart. Our first pair. We have number 1 qualifier Lakitu in the far lane, taking on number 8 qualifier Princess Peach in the near lane. And it's going to be Lakitu, 171.4, taking on Princess Peach, 172.3. Our next pair, number 4 qualifier Drybone in the near lane, number 5 qualifier Mario in the far lane. It's going to be Mario, 171.4, taking on Drybones, 172.8. Our next pair, we have number 2 qualifier Light Blue Shy Guy in the far lane, taking on number 10 qualifier Tanuki Mario in the near lane. It's going to be Light Blue Shy Guy, 169.2, taking on Tanuki Mario's 171.7. And our final pair of Mario Kart round number 2. We have number 3 qualifier Shy Guy in the far lane, and Light Blue Yoshi, number 6 qualifier in the near lane. It's going to be Shy Guy, 170 with the 6, taking on Light Blue Yoshi's 173.1. And the Mario Kart semifinals are as followed. Lakitu will have lane choice over Mario due to running the 171.4 first. And Light Blue Shy Guy will take on Shy Guy. Semifinals, next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Gatornationals. It's time for the semifinals of all 5 classes. We start in top fuel. Our first pair, number 1 qualifier, Brandon Bernstein in the near lane, taking on number 4 qualifier, Thunder in the far lane. Who's going to the final? It's going to be Thunder at 188.2. Brandon Bernstein struggles to a 229 flat. And our next, the second pair of top fuel semifinals, Melanie Troxel, number 2 qualifier in the far lane, taking on Joe Amato, number 3 qualifier in the near lane. It's going to be Troxel, 181.7, taking out Joe Amato's 185.8. In your top fuel final, Thunder will take on Melanie Troxel. Melanie Troxel will have lane choice. It's now time for Funny Car semifinals, our first pair. Number 1 qualifier Fisher in the far lane, taking on number 5 qualifier Helatic in the near lane. Team Thunder is going to win Funny Car, but who will it be? A 172.9 for Fisher, taking on Helatic's 175.3. The second half of Funny Car semifinals. We have Thunder, the number 3 qualifier in the far lane. Mello, the number 2 qualifier in the near lane. Thunder had lane choice after running quicker the last session. And he'll be in both finals of the Nitro classes. The 172.5 taking out Mello's 175.2. Your Funny Car final is as followed. Fisher will take on Thunder. Thunder has lane choice. Thunder's in both Nitro classes. It's now time for the Pro Stock semifinals. Our first pair, number 1 qualifier Zan in the far lane, taking on number 4 qualifier Toyota in the near lane. It's going to be Zan at 171.3, taking out Toyota's 174.7. In the second half of the Pro Stock semifinals, we have number 2 qualifier Fast Fish in the near lane, 3 qualifier Civic in the far lane. Fast Fish shows the near lane yet again. And he's going to beat Civic on 173.5, taking out Civic's 175.5. Your Pro Stock final is as followed. Zan will take on Fast Fish. Zan has lane choice. It's time for the Pro Stock Thundercycles semifinals. Our first pair, we have number 1 qualifier Steve in the near lane, taking on number 4 qualifier Samantha in the far lane. Samantha had lane choice. And it's going to be Steve, a 178.6, taking out Samantha, 179 flat. And the second half of motorcycles semifinals, we have number 2 qualifier Eric in the near lane with lane choice. Taking on number 3 qualifier Vegeta in the far lane. Eric ran great down the near lane last round. And he's going to do it again by 2,000ths of a second, taking out Vegeta. 176.6 for Eric and 176.8 for Vegeta. Eric moves on. The Pro Cycles Thundercycle final, we feature Steve taking on Eric. Eric has lane choice. It's now time for the Mario Kart semifinals. Up first, number 1 qualifier Lakitu in the far lane. Had lane choice due to running at the same time first as the number 5 qualifier Mario in the near lane. Who's going to the final? It's going to be Lakitu at 170 with an 8, taking out Mario's 175.6. In our final pair of the semifinals, we have Light Blue Shy Guy number 2 qualifier in the far lane. Shy Guy number 3 qualifier in the near lane. Who's going to the final? Good race is going to be Light Blue Shy Guy at 168.9, taking out Shy Guy's 171.2. In the Mario Kart final, Lakitu will face Light Blue Shy Guy with lane choice. And your final rounds are next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TikTok Gatornationals. It is time for the final rounds. Who will win the race in the 5 classes? We start in Mario Kart. We have Light Blue Shy Guy in the far lane. Number 2 qualifier. Taking on number 1 qualifier, Lakitu in the near lane. Light Blue Shy Guy had lane choice. It's going to be Light Blue Shy Guy at 169.4, taking on Lakitu's 171.5. And Light Blue Shy Guy gets his second win on the season. It's now time for the Pro Cycles Thundercycle final round. We have number 1 qualifier Steve in the far lane. Taking on number 2 qualifier Eric in the near lane. Eric had lane choice and again chose the near lane. And it's going to be Steve with 176.3, taking out Eric's 180 with a 1. And Steve will pick up the opening race for the Pro Cycles Thundercycles. What a win. It's now time for the Pro Stock final round. We have Zan, your number 1 qualifier in the far lane. Taking on number 2 qualifier Fast Fish in the near lane. Zan in the old car. Can he win in the car that cost him the championship last season? Yes, he will. 171.7 for Zan. Taking out Fast Fish, 174 flat. Zan brings out the old car and gets the race win. Back-to-back Gatornational winner. It's now time for the Funny Car final. We have number 1 qualifier Fisher in the near lane. And we have the number 3 qualifier Thunder who had lane choice in the far lane. First Funny Car, one of these 2 drivers is going to get their second win of the year in Funny Car. It's going to be Thunder 172.2, taking out Fisher's 173.9. In our final pair, Thunder wins Funny Car, back-to-back races. Our final pair of Top Fuel finals. Here we go. Melanie Troxel, number 2 qualifier in the near lane. Had lane choice, thinks just like Brandon Bernstein could beat Thunder in the near lane. Thunder, number 4 qualifier in the far lane. Can he go back-to-back both Nitro classes? That's going to be a no. Melanie Troxel gets the win on 180 with an 8, taking out Thunder's 187.7. Thunder wins Funny Car. Troxel wins Top Fuel. Your 5 winners from today's race. We will see you at the next race.